Hey everyone, George here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a review on this Laquelle startup kit. This is one of the nicest startup kits I've ever seen. Perfect for a betta fish. In the meantime, hit that subscribe and like. Also, leave your comments down below at the end of this video and share with your friends. When we come back, we'll dive right into this and talk about this amazing little tank that was sent to me and set up, and I absolutely love it, and I think you will too. As I said at the beginning of this video, this is a starter kit, but it's a very, very high-end and very efficient starter kit. And one of the things I want to show you is how thin this kit is. It's really only about 6 inches wide, but it is quite tall. It's about 14 inches in height. The glass on it is ultra clear glass, greater than 91.5% light transmittance, bringing you really the most enjoyment that you can possibly get out of clarity of the tank itself. As you can see, the glass is extremely clear. Now, what I have done here is I have set this up just to have a few stones in here, a piece of wood, and a few plants. This is perfect setup for a betta fish. This betta fish here was at a store, of course, in a cup, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, but that is how a lot of these places do things, and it's obviously not the most healthy environment for these fish, and to have something like this set up for them is a zillion times better than what they may get in most homes. So I wanted to show you this Laquelle starter kit because it's very inexpensive. It's only about $99, and it comes with some very, very high-end pieces of equipment here, which I think makes this a very unique setup for most people who are looking to set up a small aquarium for, say, their child, or something for their desk in their office, or a small apartment, anything like that where you just want a little bit of life in the apartment or whatever. Now, I have over 40 tanks in my home, from discus fish all the way down, so it's unusual for me to be doing a betta video, but I wanted to show you this simply because I thought the tank was so well put together and so well done and such high quality that I just couldn't really overlook it here. Now, I want to show you also that on the edges here where this is put together, this is very, very well done. Now, it's not mitered, and some of you may say, well, the mitered edges are a little bit better, but in this particular case here, there is no excess silicone at all. You wouldn't even know that this was silicone together. You would think that it was super glued or something because it's so cleanly done and so well done. Now, I want to talk about the light on this for a minute here. This light here is a sliding light, so this will fit other aquariums as well. It has a length on it, I think, of about 17 inches, which is quite a bit longer than what you see here. The tank, I think, across the top here, when I measured it, was about 14 inches. And of course, you know, this light slides out even further than that, so it can be used with any other tank as well. It's a very high spectrum light. It has a lot of different features on. I'm going to show you the actual button itself, in which it has the power button here. It has a timer. It has different spectrums that you can go up and down on as far as different types of lighting in here. As you can see, when I push this button, you can dim it, you can make it higher or lower, and go all the way up to the highest setting. And also, you can change the spectrum on it. You can change it from the green and blue just down, or green, blue, red, and white just down to white and blue, which is very common. This will actually, if you keep it in that blue and white area there, it will keep the algae down. Not that this would be a very hard tank to clean, but just for maintenance purposes, you can do that and still get a very beautiful look out of the tank. I like the added spectrums myself, and I don't mind cleaning the tank a couple of times a week, changing the water 2 or 3 times a week, just to make sure that the tank stays clean. That's one way of doing it, but the bottom line is that this is a very wide spectrum light on here, which I was not expecting. In fact, I believe that there's 3 modes on this LED: plant mode, daylight mode, and moonlight mode. Just meeting your different needs of whatever you might want as far as a look. You can have it set up to where it will come on in the morning, it will dim late in the afternoon if that's what you choose to do, and then also have that what they call moonlight mode, which brings it down to just the blue light, and then gradually it will dim itself until it shuts off. And you can set that from anywhere from 3 hours to 6 hours to 12 hours, depending on what your needs are or what your likes are, and we'll go from there. Anyways, I wanted to also talk to you about this filtration system because I think it is absolutely amazing for a tank that is $99. Now, what you're getting here is a very small, clear, blends in beautifully with the rest of the tank. So that's one of the things that was a draw to me when they wanted to send this to me and have me highlight it on my channel. Of course, this is just a review. This is not something that I'm getting paid for. And of course, the piece of equipment is free to me, but it is not something that they are paying me to review. So I'm giving you a very honest review about this. And I'm going to tell you some of the things that I don't like about it as well. But in the meantime, hit that subscribe button. Also, give me a like on this and a comment down below. And if you would, share with your friends. I would appreciate that very much. Now, as I was talking about, this is a really cool setup here. This lifts off and makes it so that it's very accessible. Right now, I only have a sponge in here. What I plan to do probably over the next week or so is to put some volcanic rock in there, just so that this is a little bit more efficient and easier on the filtration. Right now, it's just a big piece of sponge that I put in there that came from another tank, so this thing cycled automatically. That was something that I was looking to do just to make sure that the tank was ready for this betta fish right away. And so I set this up a day ahead. I let it run after putting this piece of sponge in there, and it cycled immediately, and I've had no problems. After testing it over the last few days, I've had no problems with it being absolutely perfect. 0 ammonia, 0 nitrites, and very, very minimal amount of nitrates, which is something that we can go back and forth on whether that's a good thing or not. I think 0 nitrates can sometimes mean that your tank is having a hard time keeping up, and nitrates that have a small trace of them is actually, I think, good for your tank. Now, as I said, this is a really, really nice little setup for someone who is just starting out, or for a small child's room, as I said, an office area, or a small apartment where you're just looking to keep a betta fish, maybe a couple of goldfish, anything like that. Now, the other thing I want to talk about with this filtration is there's a little knob here that controls the amount of flow on here. You can turn this up or down depending on what your needs are. I have it about halfway just because it is not something I want a lot of flow in here. Betta fish are used to really slow moving water, so I don't want to really make this fish get to the point where he's wanting to jump out of the tank or anything like that. So disturbing him in that way is not something that I wanted to do. Now, the other thing that I liked about this is the skimmer that came with this, which is fantastic because you don't usually see that on such a small, inexpensive filter. And this does a fantastic job of skimming any kind of particles that are floating on the top of the water and bringing them into the system and pushing them through and keeping the water that much more cleaner. Now, I have added a heater to this, which is just a small aqua top or aqua fin. I'm not sure which one, but it's one of those. It's made for betta fish, and it heats right up to 78 degrees and stops. It's perfect for the tank this size. It will heat anything up to 5 gallons. Now, this is a 3.5 gallon tank. If I hadn't mentioned that earlier in the video, this is about 3.5 gallons. I would say there's probably 2.5 gallons by the time you put the sand, the rock, and the piece of wood in here. You're really only at about 2.5 gallons, but it's actually a perfect setup, as I said, for a betta fish. Now, one of the other things that I want to talk about as far as this particular setup is that it's very easy to move around with everything that I have in here, and the water and everything full at capacity. It really only weighs about 10 pounds. So moving it around is very easy to do. Drop your water level down just a little bit and you can move this any place that you want to if it's not working. I have it in my upstairs bathroom simply because I didn't really have any other place to put it that was a good place for my grandson to come in and feed him every morning. Now what we're doing is we're feeding pellets that are great for betta fish or any kind of fish like that that are small, and that works really, really well for making it easy to feed this fish. But what I also found is the access to it so that my grandson can take his fingers and just sprinkle a couple of pellets in there a few times a day. It's really accessible in that way on both ends. There's a little bit more space down at this end here. You can kind of change that if you want to, but the problem you run into is it does bump into this little flow knob here. I want to talk about a couple of things that I don't like about this tank, and there's not many, but there are a few. The first one being that, like I said, the light here has to be moved further into this direction over here, because if you have it over here, you're going to either have it fall off the edge or be very unstable. And if you want to try and make the light further this direction here, you're going to run into this little control knob over here for the flow of your filtration, and that really was something that I didn't like. Now, the second thing that I didn't like about this was the glass on here, as I said, is very high-end, low iron glass. But one of the things that I noticed on it was that there was something that they used to wrap it, and it was really, really hard to get that off. There was some sticky substance on the glass, and it really took quite a while with some warm water to get this to be perfectly clean. That's just something in the way that they wrap it, but that's a small price to pay to have a really, really high-end tank like this for a betta fish. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't typically do videos on betta fish, and I don't usually review tanks this size, but I thought this was an interesting tank, and I want to tell you again, it's made by Laquelle, and it's called the Starter Kit Aquarium. The official website is www.laquelle, that's LAQUAL.com, and there's also a great service site that you can go to. It's service@laquelle.com. I will put all of that information in the description down below, so that if you're interested in getting one of these, I will also tell you how you can do that. Now, these are manufactured in China, and most things are these days, but I was really, as I said, extremely happy with this particular setup. So thank you for joining me today. If you have any further questions on this, please leave it in the comments down below, and I'll get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. But again, what a nice little setup here for anyone that's looking for something absolutely dead quiet. You cannot hear anything on this at all. So it's a really nice setup in that sense as well. So give me a thumbs up on this. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed already to the channel, please do. Take an opportunity to do that, and share this with your friends. We will see you on the next one. Until then, we are out of here.